So now, this video, we're going to focus on using the multimeter here to measure the voltages of this circuit. So, I've been making recent videos for absolute beginners, and we have 5 volts set at the power supply. I got the current limited at the power supply. In case we miswire something, then the power supply won't deliver too much power that can damage anything. These red LEDs, these indicator LEDs I should say, generally have a 20 milliamp current maximum that you should put through them, and lower is better. So we have a little less current than we probably could have because the resistor doesn't make great connections in this cheap board, but that's okay. It's good to practice with these cheap boards. You'll appreciate the higher quality ones after that. So let's get back to the meter. So we saw 5 volts. That's at the supply. There's actually other voltages of importance in here. So I talk about that a lot in my circuit. Sometimes I add those voltages to the schematic diagrams and whatnot, but it's very important to be aware of them. So this is an auto ranging meter. All I have to do is set it to V for voltage, and voltage is a safe measurement. Now you notice there's a straight line and a swiggle line under there. You can either measure DC or AC. If you're going to measure DC, you want to make sure that says DC right there. Pretty straightforward. And if you're going to measure alternating current, which is something you got to learn in addition to this. We're just going to look at DC. It's more simple. But you just hit, in this case, select, and you got AC. So other multimeters basically perform the same functions for the most part as this one will, but it may have a different setup. Be aware of that. So we have the probes. Again, this one, the only time I move the red probe is for high current right there in the amp range. I think this can measure up to 600 milliamps of current, so you don't want to go up near an amp, but any case, you look at your instruction manual for the limitations. But main thing is we're going to measure voltage, and so we keep the red probe there. And we got COM. COM for this meter is always there. I have one meter where you might move the black probe. We got black probe and COM, but this one, never. You never move it. It's always in that spot. So the other end of those plugs are the probes right there. Pretty straightforward. And we can look at the supply voltage. So as I said before, that comes to the alligator clips. We'll move out a little bit, and we can just go right to the alligator clips right there. And you can see 5 volts. So it's a little less than 5 volts, probably because of resistances where we're connecting to stuff. But also, the power supply might not be as accurate as the meter, and maybe the meter is even off a little bit. You got to be aware of that. So what we're even more interested in, you're going to hear me talk about the voltage drop of the LED. So red LEDs are probably about 2 volts. We can measure the voltage across the red LED. It's probably going to have 2 volts across it. And the LED is kind of making it a little bit harder for me to see. But there we go. We got a good or decent connection there. 1.9 volts. So basically 2 volts. It will go down a little bit with less current and up a little bit with a little more current. Be aware of that. But for the most part, it's going to be close to 2 volts. So what that means is that voltage is dropped from the resistor. The resistor sets the current based on its resistance and the voltage across it. And we got about 3 volts right there. And it's going to change a little bit as I make slight movements with the probe and whatnot. Be aware of that. Now, holding the probes is sometimes difficult. So I just took some jumpers. So this wire is male on both ends right there. And I just took one of these alligator clips that I have. The Make Electronics kit from Radio Shack. An older one had I think like 5 of each color or something, and I bought some more later on. But in case, all I did was I actually took the pliers right there, and I didn't use a crimping tool, and I just squeezed these alligator clips to the male end right there, and then I put the plastic back on. But we're not going to waste time on this. We're going to kind of get to it. So what we can do now, and this makes a pretty good connection. I'm pretty happy with it. We're going to come back here. Usually voltage is in relationship to ground right there. If you're going to look at voltage when it comes to parts of the circuit in relationship to the power supply. We just measured across the LED, which was to ground, but then we measured across the resistor, and we weren't looking at the voltages in relationship to ground. We were looking at the voltage directly across it. But often you'll be looking at the voltage in relationship to ground. And all I have to do now is clip the black probe there, and we have a pretty solid connection all along that way when it comes to the measurement. And again, we're going to do, let's go across the red LED again. And so I like to do this right there. Of course, you know, you got to get alligator clips and everything if you want to do this yourself. And I don't know if they have any that are pre-made where you can plug into the breadboard and then also have an alligator clip on the other side. I think you got to kind of make this yourself. But in any case, there you go. So there you can see much steadier voltage because I'm not pushing on it, and we probably got a better connection as well. That's why we're seeing more voltage right there. So I generally do this setup when I want a more accurate reading. But again, we got pretty much the same voltages. The ag voltages aren't terribly important for the most part. We're back to the supply voltage right there, and then I'm going to move this to the lower end of the resistor. We can see that we got about 3 volts. And again, there you can see much steadier there because I'm using this jumper setup right there. Now, another thing is voltages might change slightly as components heat up and whatnot. Maybe they'll conduct better, maybe they'll conduct a little bit worse as they heat up. And there's you know, components that are specifically made to change their resistance as temperature changes. So their the voltages across them will probably change drastically as well. So we can that's not opening it as much as it should have. I didn't think of that, so I got to try to slide that back on. But in case, that's my setup right there. Hopefully that made sense. I really like this. Again, I will probably make these a number of times. Pretty simple. I can just use the regular pliers. So, you know, you again, not commonly found in kits, but or probably not at all. I'll show you one of the kits I got. So I was probably promoting this kit for a while, but you can see some of the basic parts. I took them out for the most part. They're not in there, but there you can see. You can just buy a kit with a whole bunch of the basic components. This one had the breadboard. Doesn't have a actual power supply, but it has a breadboard power supply. And what that does is you take a 9-volt plug. 9 volt just works best. Doesn't have to be 9 volts. And you plug it in. You got to get that separately. Plugs into AC outlet, gives you 9 volts. And this regulates the voltage. So it doesn't actually change the power. It just kind of limits current, and so that it maintains. This plugs into the breadboard. It maintains either 5 volts or 3.3 volts, or you could turn one side off, or the two sides are independent right there. But in case, this was mostly focused on measuring the voltages of the simple circuits for absolute beginners. So I kind of went slow on this. And when you see the alligator clips kind of look like they're just hovering, these are header pins right there. There's a longer end that I put into the board, and then a shorter end right there that I could clip the alligator clips to. So again, you can measure voltages of any circuit. It's a pretty safe measurement. Now, when you're done, first off, get it off of measuring voltage right there. I always get it off of measuring current, but you should turn it off. In fact, the voltage setting is safer. If it has like an on-off button instead of a dial, you have to turn it off. Set it on voltage before you turn it off. It's a safe measurement. There is more of a risk to the circuit if you measure it wrong. So we'll come back here. There you can see we got 12 milliamps of current. And what I mean by that is we have the probes. Probes are made of metal, of course. And so when you're measuring voltage, the current doesn't really flow through the probes. It takes very little. Current does still a little. but it's metal on both ends. I just shorted that LED. We got to the maximum 20 milliamp setting that I set, because all the voltage, 5 volts, goes across the resistor when it's 220 ohm resistor when I short the LED. So that is a danger when you're taking measurements, because sometimes there's a whole bunch of metal next to each other, and you can make with the same probe contact from one to the other. Whereas when you measure voltage, I'm going to turn the meter back on. You're going to see power supply shouldn't change, and now the resistor is probably making a better connection. It kind of wiggles around in there, but we measure across the LED. You can see the supply voltage. It's just the components kind of shifted. That's why it changed a little bit. But taking the measurement doesn't affect the power supply at all. It doesn't notice, because when you take a measurement, the power supply should never notice. But there you can see, taking the measurement, no change in power supply. We accidentally short something, and the power supply changes. So you can tell a lot of what's, not really what's going on, but you can tell when something's kind of wrong by looking at the power supply a lot of times. If it has more current than it should or less current than it should, it kind of gives you an indication of what might be wrong with the circuit. In this case, it was a short. We went to that limit when, the way I have this set up, 13, 14 milliamps of current should be the absolute max that we see. If we get bumped up to 20, gives you a good indication that we got a short, and that is short circuit, some of the short circuit protection. So that's the short circuit protection for the circuitry. We got kind of halfway when it comes to this particular power supply, and most of them, I think, that are like this. This is like a portable version of a bench power supply. Bench power supply, you can get more power at a lower price, but I didn't mean to accidentally undo that. But in any case, there's the other header. If I accidentally get a short with this particular power supply, it notices there was no load at all, so it turned off. So this isn't the best for charging batteries. You can, because batteries kind of accept whatever current you give them when you're charging them. You raise the voltage enough. But when it comes to powering circuits, it notices there's no circuit. It shut off the output. I'll turn the output back on, and there it turned it off. And the amount of current that it let flow when we shorted it, if I set it to a higher current and stuff and a higher voltage, we may have seen a big spark. But this kind of reduces that spark, because we limited the current right there. So that's one way, when you're first building circuits especially, to avoid damaging things. Set the power supply limits so that it cannot damage anything, because it's not going to deliver enough power. So in any case, again, went on longer and said more than I normally would, because I made this for absolute beginners. And again, it was more for looking at how to use the multimeter. But I'm going to give, just kind of basic tips somebody at that level might be able to use. So thanks for watching. Make sure you check out one of the other videos I posted on the screen, and check out the links down below. They all help out a lot. I'll see you in the next video.